Hello and welcome to another Optional Extra video. I'm Mitch and joining me is Russell.
What's up? Go talk Nintendo.
Here to talk Nintendo. The Nintendo Direct from January. Oh wait, no, it wasn't in January. It's in February because Nintendo decided not to do it in their normal month to trick us all. This was a really good Direct. All the announcements were pretty good. Well, not all of them, but there are some really good announcements in this Direct.
It's one of those perfect directs where it's like it's not super long and it's packed full of content of like big announcements, small announcements, things coming to the Switch that weren't there before, games coming out now, shadow drops. Like it's just a combination of kind of like everything you could want. Yeah.
Yeah. So like straight off, we should start off with the last bastion of the Wii U has been conquered, defeated. There's not much left of that place anymore because Mario Maker is coming to the Switch. But not just Mario Maker, Super Mario Maker 2.
And why is Super Mario Maker 2? Or what's different about it, Mitch?
Well, you see, Russell, you can get the cat suit, which is obviously the main selling point of this game. Because the cat suit that appeared in 3D World, I think it appeared in some 2D one.
Yeah, no, I think it was just 3D World.
No, it is in the side-scrolling one. I remember it. But so this is people have been waiting for this because talk about the biggest hit for the Wii U was definitely Super Mario Maker. Like that was making them sell consoles when really the console didn't really sell much at all. In fact, the Switch outsold it very swiftly. The Switch outsold the GameCube very swiftly too.
But Mario Maker was such a perfect game for that system. Like the concept of a tablet and then Mario Maker where it was literally like integrating the tablet stylus, drop these things in the spots. Which
is the problem with moving to the Switch, which does... It is better than Wii U in every way surpassed. Like it even took the gamepad idea and just refined it. But you don't have that as a controller now. So they had to work out how to, make it work.
Yeah, the joint combination of being able to have that tablet to do the customizations to the levels while you can still see it on the screen.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. So now it's one of those ones where I guess you have to map it to a controller when you're on the console, and then it's probably better when it's on portable because then you can just touch screen and move stuff around.
It is good to have the option to create it with a controller. I mean, you see in the video the UI of how selecting different options works.
Yeah, with the little circle
It's a little bit clunkier than, a touchpad, but I think it opens a bit more opportunities for people.
And as you said, the Cat Mario 3D World integration is like one more option where it's like... And the cool thing about Mario Maker is always the backwards compatibility and forwards compatibility. It's like, this is something from 3D World. It goes back to the original Super Mario in that style. So, Cat Mario, you'll have a Cat Mario in the old style, which is cool in itself. So, that transition... and it's, as you said, the last bastion of Wii U. Like this game, if anyone's really using the Wii U, it's probably for this game still, because almost everything else is come across now, or better, like Smash Ultimate or whatever.
A few remakes of that. There's also the now ability to make auto-scrolling levels and enemies that kind of chase and path you, which is sort of one of its biggest mechanical changes. There's a few other things in there, but for the most part, it looks really good if you're a fan of Super Mario Maker and Super Mario in general. It's coming out in June, so not too long to wait. And, pretty curious how that goes. It'll probably sell a lot.
Yeah, it's...
Seeming people who are, like, on the fence, like, going, I could buy a Wii U for this, but it's a Wii U.
And that just the Switch selling point every single time is like, it's also portable. Like, always running. Like, you can play this on the go, and it's a never-ending Mario game of custom-created levels. Like, that itself is a pretty awesome thing.
That is pretty awesome. They didn't show any new themes or, like, different styles of game. I don't think. Like, maybe Super Mario Land for the Game Boy would have been an interesting one since the Switch is portable, just, like, making that kind of link. But, yeah, for the most part, looks good. Will I buy it? It'd be interesting. Like, it could be a good idea for videos and stuff, which, when the original came out, we weren't doing this, so opportunity there.
I mean, yes, there's just so much you can do with it, but still, it is Mario. Like, it's not quite Dreams or where you can do anything. It's like, no, you're still making Mario games at its core, but it's got heaps of creativity there, and like people went insane with some of the custom levels they made in the last game. So with the ability of and the popularity of Switch, I can only imagine.
I can only imagine. Now. I wonder if all the old levels are backwards compatible.
That's a good question. Judging just by Nintendo in general, probably not.
Probably not. But how good would it be if all of those levels came forward?
Yeah, absolutely, that would be a good thing. But I doubt it. I doubt it just because of Nintendo's social network stuff.
Yeah, moving on to Place Where the Fire is Emblem. I don't know what that means. But Fire Emblem Three Houses got a big breakdown of like what it is, and like going off what I could see, it's Hogwarts.
Yeah, it's anime Harry
basically
Potter.
Anime Harry Potter. Like, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's just funny, just like the title was so literal in the end, where it's just like three houses. Like, okay, I don't know what that means. Like, oh, it's literally three houses.
Three houses.
Like,
they're not literally three houses. Like,
well, yeah, you're right. You can
houses
take it as
just in a
literally
field.
three buildings.
Just like it's rare houses. Yeah, well, it's been delayed. Like, they did confirm it's been delayed a bit because it comes out in July 26th. It's supposed to come out in spring/autumn for us.
Yeah.
Which now clearly isn't because they've got a real release date. But overall, like, it looks like what we said last time we were talking about Nintendo this year. It's just, it does look like Fire Emblem. Like, it doesn't look like it's taking too many ambitious steps away from the usual mechanics and how those games work at all. Which, you know, not necessarily a bad thing.
No, just doing a bit more with the power. It's like, oh, we can have these big armies behind you when you go into the little attack formations and stuff. And you've got like the school is like a hub and you're a teacher.
Yeah,
like,
you're a
in terms of
professor.
like new information, that's probably all we did really find out. Like, we saw some more of the cutscenes, more of the story, and the fact that, oh yes, you play as a professor who, well, I guess you're the, whatever. However it works, you're a professor and you're in the hub world, and then you've got the house that you align with is like the one you're teaching or whatever. And that kind of how it goes down. But other than that, it's like, it was showing stuff we knew before. I was like, okay, yeah, that's how the combat works. That's the characters, you level them
characters.
up. Yeah.
The fact you're a professor is interesting.
Yeah,
like, you're the one training them up and sending them out to die. Is pretty much what you're doing.
I guess, yeah. Got to highlight the relationship stuff. It's like, oh yeah,
obviously.
That's gonna be a key part of this game.
It's a key selling point. What the people are waiting for.
Yeah. But it's still, Fire Emblem's a good series, and it still looks like it'll be a good game, but nothing that I think blows you away. Like, oh man, they're really doing something crazy here. It's like, oh no, they're pretty much resting on their laurels for this one,
which is fine. It's a series I've really wanted to get into, and with the Switch version, it looks so good. It's just another iteration of that series, and I think it's a good one to actually jump into. So moving on to another, well, one's a strategy game. There's a JRPG. Is Dragon Quest XI Definitive? Oh, there's an S somewhere. I don't remember where that goes. But, you know, we expected this because it came out on 3DS.
They told us it was coming.
But now we've seen it, and there's a couple of neat changes that I'm sure fans are going to love, like Russell, because the score is now orchestral. I think that was a lot of people's complaints.
Pretty much the biggest critique I saw consistently was the score every single time. It's like, oh, the score should be orchestral. Why isn't it orchestral? It should be orchestral. And my biggest concern, or hope, at least for this one, is like a double whammy. It's like, I hope this isn't exclusive to the Switch, that soundtrack in particular.
It sounded like it.
It did sound that way, but I'm like, I hope they push that update or something to the other consoles to get that soundtrack improvement.
Get on PC
I don't know if
mods.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll... Yeah, PC in particular, you're right, should get it, but... yeah, I mean, there were other subtle differences that were definitely shown that I don't recall, and they talk about expansion to the stories.
Yeah, DLCs with all the characters.
Yeah, so there's definitely some new stuff there. In terms of visual, it's no question a downgrade.
It's a downgrade. No question, you're right.
It's weird though, because it's like it's almost blurry. I don't know what they've done, but it's like everything just looks blurrier to me. It's like it looks so vibrant and colorful on like the PlayStation 4, and it's like to see it on the Switch is like, it definitely just looks so much duller.
So would you say it's not the definitive version of that game?
Not certainly not in a visual sense, but you also do have like the cool like switch to the old Dragon Quest format.
That's so cool.
Which I do like that as a feature, even though admittedly you probably won't play that most of the time that way. But no. It is still a really cool like addition to go like, oh, you can switch to this old kind of
it'd
format.
be like Final Fantasy 15 having 16-bit Final Fantasy options and stuff. It's weird, but it's like it's really neat that they've done that, because that wouldn't have been very easy to implement, because
definitely. I believe in Japan there was, I can't remember if it was the 3DS version, but I think it was, that had that format, so like they've integrated them together, I guess, for the Switch copy. But it's cool, and also JRPGs are like, they're good for portable, because often you're spending a lot of time in a lot of areas grinding, killing monsters, bosses, etc., and it's like just having that like stops and start, play it wherever you go, fill in time. Like, it's really good for that. And Dragon Quest is not a short game, so
No.
plenty to do there.
And talking about kind of really neat announcement, really out of nowhere, is Tetris 99. Let's just call it what it is, Battle Royale Tetris.
Yeah.
That is exactly what it is, and that is a cool concept. Like, it just takes that Puyo Puyo Tetris, like that kind of versus thing, but then scales it up to 99.
The number alone, I'm just like, is that literally how it was like decided upon, or was like we go, oh, what if you did Battle Royale Tetris? How would that work? And then it's like, oh, it works like this.
Yeah.
And since I haven't played, I haven't seen it being played.
I've seen it being played. I really want to play it. I'll probably check it out.
So, do you have any impact on other players? Or
Yes.
is it literally just like, you do? Okay, that's good.
There are a couple options of how it targets it. You're not really in full control. You can make it random or people who are attacking you. And
Cool, yeah, because that's what I wasn't sure of. I'm like, is it just not two people playing Tetris at the same time and see who lasts the longest? I'm like, oh no, cool, you can impact them. That definitely makes it more interesting. Yeah, and it was a shadow drop. It was like, here it is now.
yeah, that, play it.
So, you know, it's cool little thing, a game idea.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm interested in checking it out because like Tetris is cool, but Tetris 99 plays at once will just be some cool experience that I feel like you have to try it at least once. But yeah, so that's kind of all the announcements. Well, there's some surprises, but like not talking about real surprises because we've got a new game with a release date by Platinum Games called Astral Chain coming out, made by Nier Automata, because you got the director on this one. So
it was that one to me out of everything was probably the most exciting because it came out of nowhere. Like
absolutely
it was really unexpected for so many reasons. Like after it finished, I'm like, this kind of looks like Platinum Bayonetta, and then it went, and I'm like, oh, it was kind of all over the place. Like it had a monolith kind of like art style to it. I also maybe a Code Vein. That
so
anime.
Going through like, what is this? The whole thing.
Yeah, and then it ends like Platinum. I'm like, okay, what's going on with Bayonetta 3 then? And they didn't really explain it other than like, oh no, they're still working on Bayonetta 3. This is something else. It's like, okay.
They got distracted.
Well, yeah, but it's got a release date, like, which is also surprising. It's like it's a brand new announcement from a developer that isn't first party, and it's coming out confidently exclusively to the Switch, judging by like, oh, we're working alongside, and that they alluded to a second player in some form, where it's like, oh, you might notice that there were two players being controlled.
Two players.
2 chains or whatever it was. Yeah. It's like, okay, so I'm taking it as a hack and slash co-op game is the impression I'm getting from it.
That's a cool idea though. Like a Platinum developed co-op game, like I'll buy that in a heartbeat because that'd be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it had all the signature like Platinum type S, like it's a true blue like hack and slash game or like aspects of it, but the style is kind of like your cops, like it always reminded me of like Psycho-Pass or something.
It did, didn't it? Like I was like, yeah, this is a Psycho-Pass vibe. But it's like,
yeah, it's you're a cop in this like kind of like dystopian future type thing, except it's got weird crazy monsters as well. Like,
I mean, obviously you need something to fight in this game, so why not monsters?
Yeah, and then you're going around in the city. You're like chained to this like robot cop bike car thing.
You're tied to RoboCop. That's essentially what this is.
Yeah, and it's got like, it looks like it had a stealth section where like you like stealth assassinate someone from like, oh, like capture them. Whatever you're doing.
There's like some weird HUD mode where you're looking through the city at like things that happened.
Yeah, and everything looked like tight and responsive. It didn't have like that like crazy lag or something into it. Anything about it, I'm like, this looks good. And it comes out this year. Like, it's got a release date of, I think, August 30th?
August 30. August 30.
Yeah.
Like, that's a, like, end of quarter date.
Yeah.
So that could change. But that's still really cool, because, like, no one had heard about this.
No.
Platinum must have been working on it for a fair bit of time, because to give it a release date, it's not just, like, to be announced. It's like, no, it's got a release date. It's pretty much done. And, like, with the amount they're working on, like, Bayonetta 3, that Babylon game we saw...
Yeah, as well. Yeah, you're right. It's like, I mean, Platinum's always been that, where it's like hard to understand how they can develop so many things at once. It's like, how are they doing this?
And Nier Automata 2, like, assuming that it's got to be made.
Oh, no question that game's been greenlit. Like, how successful Nier Automata
immediately. Like, yep, you make that. It's like, well, we've got to make all these other games first, because we're Platinum. We can't settle down. We have to be making all this at once. Haven't made a game for Activision in a while.
But yeah, definitely reeks of like an exclusive to me. I'd be very surprised if this comes out anywhere else.
Yeah, well, Bayonetta 2's never come out anywhere else, so I think Platinum and Nintendo have a good working relationship, so that obviously led to that. And talking about another surprise, because this is a Zelda game neither of us has played, but it's getting a full remake. It's Link's Awakening, an old Game Boy game featuring Link in a dream world, trying to escape in
And interesting about the reveal was that new art style. Like, it's
very new art style.
kind of like a toy-like thing. Like, everything looks shiny and plasticky.
Yeah, it's something Zelda hasn't done before. It's a definite new look to it.
Yeah, because it was initially it's like, oh, okay, this is the Link Between Worlds type style, and it's like, oh, actually, no, it's not. It's different. It's subtly different. I mean, yes, of course, it's Zelda, so it's like it's still the
Plays the
bird's eye
same.
view.
You still like,
You know,
hit the attack
but
and reflect stuff.
Yeah.
But
and this is one of those games that, like, as a Zelda fan, like, I haven't played it, and I've heard so many people talk about how good it is. So it's one of those I'm like, I'm really looking forward to it. Now, admittedly, what I've seen, this is a remake. This is not like what Resident Evil 2 remake was, where it's like, okay, they drastically changed aspects of that game.
this looks like a 1-to-1 remake. Everything's where it should be.
Yeah,
Just looks better. New system.
But yeah, obviously not just it's a big visual upgrade like Crash Bandicoot or Spyro, like that kind of.
Yeah, but it looks really nice. Like, it's got a really good art style to it that'll keep it like... It's like Wind Waker. Wind Waker's like... The art style carries that forward much more than, say, Twilight Princess, which released after it, which went for a realistic look. But, like, there's so many things about Link's Awakening I didn't know, and I was, like, very surprised by the trailer. There's, like, Goombas, there's the Chain Chomp.
Yeah, I did know about Chain Chomp. The Goombas surprised me. I'm like, oh, okay.
like,
And
oh, that's
since
cool.
then, I think there's actually way more other Nintendo references in that game. I'm like, oh, okay. Interesting that they got so, like, loose with Zelda in that one. Where it's like, it's like, oh, we're putting all these other, like, Mario properties and shit in there. And it's like, I think they have done that in other games, but
Mario Kart
it's always
8 is
very
doing
subtle.
that now, but, like, back then, that was surprising, because Nintendo didn't like to really mix it, because that was before Super Smash Bros. Existed. Like, when Smash Bros. Came out, everyone was shocked, and then to see that they've been doing weird crossovers in the past, which is cool.
Cool anime opening. Like, Zelda doesn't have that all the time. Like, just this animated, like, kind of introduction.
They're also using the Breath of the Wild font. That's something I picked out.
Yeah,
Like,
that's why I noticed too. I'm just like, is this just the Zelda font now, or is this the Breath of the Wild font?
I don't know.
And thank God they didn't say it's for 3DS, because I was getting really concerned.
You'd
I'm
like,
please don't say
the
this.
3DS.
Please
the
don't say
3DS.
this is a 3DS
Let
game.
it die, and they're like, "Yep, we let it die. Here's it on. Here's it on
I was
Switch."
just on a tangent. So recently, when they announced Persona Q2 is coming to 3DS, I'm like, oh, damn it! Like, I want it for Switch. I don't want it on the 3DS.
Yeah, we understand it sold so much, but honestly, the Switch is Nintendo's best console in a very long time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's Nintendo Switch is like my favorite combination of Nintendo. Like, it feels so Nintendo, but does everything I want to do without like some of the annoyances Nintendo often has.
yeah, so Link's Awakening 2019, some point. I imagine it's not their big game of the year. That's like kind of, I think that feels like the spot that maybe a Wii U port might have done.
Yeah, probably.
Which we haven't seen a Wii U port this year yet, because Super Mario Maker obviously could have been a port, but no, it's a sequel and stuff like that.
And I expect it'll be a cheaper title, because being a Game Boy game, I can't imagine it's like a massive, explosive
Yeah,
world
it'd be
or
like
something.
maybe 10-15 hours long.
Yeah. I don't expect it to be like a throwaway, but Captain Troy Treasure Tractor is what I'm kind of thinking.
Treasure
like that.
Tractor?
Treasure Tractor.
I think you said that heaps of times, Roll. Treasure Tractor.
But just a slightly less premium Nintendo game.
Yeah, but with all the quality and standards that Nintendo have, so
Of course, yeah.
obviously going to be more Nintendo Directs. This is a great start that like boosts your people's faith in the system, which it sold 32 million. It's selling bonkers. Obviously, there's still Pokemon, and there's probably another unannounced project possibly on the way this year. But that's the recent Nintendo Direct, and if you enjoyed this little conversation about everything that was announced, you can hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell, as the children say. But you're free. You can choose what you want to do. If you hate this video, dislike it, hate us, there's a button for that. And thank you for joining me, Russell.
No problem. I'm always happy to talk Nintendo.
And thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully, we'll see you again. Goodbye.